Hello everyone, it's me, Clayton. I just finished watching Judas and the Black Messiah, which was directed by Shaka King, produced by Ryan Coogler, and stars Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield. Now, when it comes to history, especially that of the Black Panther Party that existed back in the 1960s and 1970s, it definitely is an interesting chapter in American race relations, especially given the current political field that we're in right now. But as part history lesson and part historical drama, I definitely do feel that this film is not only an important one for for historians to watch, but also for a similar fact of how films like 12 Years a Slave and Selma ended up succeeding, mainly because they are pretty relatable with the times. And it's not only because of that, but it's also because of some great performances and some great timely themes that this film ends up becoming, in my opinion, the best film so far of 2021. But let's get to the stories, shall we? The story is that William O'Neill, a man who makes his living by pretending to be an FBI agent so he can steal people's cars, ends up getting caught by an actual police officer and ends up with an ultimatum. He'll be given a plea deal by the FBI if he basically serves as a spy of sorts for the Black Panther Party so he can get close to the Chicago, Illinois chairman of that particular branch of the Black Panther Party, Fred Hampton, played by Daniel Kaluuya. And that's basically the story, as O'Neill tries to find his way to get close to the chairman and, basically get to that plea deal while also possibly changing a bit as a person as he meets Hampton and basically finds out about his ideals and finds that maybe there's more truth to what he says than meets the eye. So basically the film happens to characterize Hampton as very much how I'd expect them to. He's very passionate about his beliefs and for his movement to help his fellow black people, but he's also very humanized throughout the film, especially through his relationship with Dorothy, the woman who's his girlfriend. He happens to essentially have his own doubts. He has his own insecurities, but he definitely has enough charisma and enough legitimate feelings about the state of affairs in the world that he's in to come across as a legitimate leader. But he also comes across as very human and not just a symbol, so to speak. And also, William O'Neill, played by Lakeith Stanfield, is very, very good in his role too. You can tell he's working out of desperation at the start of the film, but he definitely develops quite a bit more into being able to stand up for what he believes in, and ultimately deciding enough is enough when it's clear the people he's working with might not care as much about his life as he may expect. And the same goes for the rest of the cast. All the cast members deliver strong performances throughout the film's many dramatic scenes. And on top of that, there are a few things that I didn't expect from this film at all, such as some rather well done action scenes. Well, not exactly action in the action movie sense, but definitely scenes that do involve gunfighting and do involve a lot of violence that do look pretty legit, and they manage to capture the feeling that the films was definitely going for. In a similar fashion to Selma, I feel, or last year's The Trial of the Chicago 7, which also dealt with a lot of dealt with a lot of historical aspects to its production. And also, Shaka King's direction manages to feel violent without being overdone, and it manages to be dramatic without feeling overly dramatic. It's just the right balance of what this film asks for, and I believe Shaka King has a very bright future ahead of them when it comes to directorial jobs. On top of that, the credits song by Her, or Her, is pretty well done, and I wouldn't be surprised if next year it ends up being used for Best Original Song at the Oscars. It definitely does fit the credits and the ending montage rather well, where we also see William O'Neill's one and only interview used as footage for the film. So we can see how Lakeith Stanfield also happens to compare to the real William O'Neill. So, Judas and the Black Messiah is definitely a film that you should watch if you want to see a great historical drama, and if you want to see a history lesson on the Black Panthers and Fred Hampton. And that's why I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. See you next time.